I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:01. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
I've got one that'll only take 45 minutes or so.
So you know the new rule? Ain't happening. Yes, sir.
Hail to the select chief, so select board chair on that comment.
Oh, thank you. 45 seconds is okay.
No.
45 minutes, no. The new rule. Review of minutes, January 20th. And very good.
I have a suggestion for revision. Scott Hess is a good friend of mine. We're neighbors. We carpool together, but we have not yet gotten married.
Oh, sorry.
So my last name is Etnayer and
It is.
present, yes.
Oh, that's right.
He didn't adopt you?
Yes. My son, I only have two daughters, I don't have a son. Thank you, my son, Carl.
What else do you have, Carl?
That's it.
Yes, Mr. Hess.
Motion to accept the minutes, January 20th,
As amended.
as amended. Yes, as amended.
You have a second? Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Yeah, it's good to have, they do have.
Actually, I do have further discussion. The minutes just keep getting better and better. Thank you, Rosie.
I'm glad you,
Rosie, thank you so much
Yes.
for doing it. It really is.
let me know if they're getting too verbose.
They are not.
We have had novellas here, so they're not too verbose yet.
Very succinct. Thank you.
Very nice.
Absolutely.
Nice surprise. Public comment.
Let's do the January 27th minutes.
Oh, I don't have the January 20th written
Yeah,
down.
you've got both in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them are on the website, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, right, it's not.
It's the other one staple.
The other one?
This is the 45-second addition to the agenda.
Oh, right. I got it. It's right here. It just wasn't written on.
Okay.
I got it. Okay,
Okay,
I have two amendments to propose.
yeah.
So twice as many as the previous one. The motion passed unanimously. I'd like to see that added to approved commissioning agent for the town garage.
okay.
And also after the first sentence under adjourn.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Adjourn, Mr. Hess moved, and Mr. Etnayer seconded adjournment, then the motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
There's other efficiency to be gained by getting a temporary garage, but that's not the only reason that we're looking for it.
Oh, do you want me to add in other efficiencies at the end of that sentence?
Yeah, something. The stormwater permit is one of the facets that will be easier, or we don't even need it. But just getting the garage out of the way can enable the crew to start a lot earlier.
How about strike so that a stormwater permit can be obtained more quickly, just right? Because that would lead to many efficiencies,
To lead
So the new,
to many efficiencies.
many benefits.
yeah, and yeah, I like the next sentence. And that's exactly true.
Okay,
Okay,
this
So
will,
it'll be something, say something about efficiency or something, but I wouldn't get too specific about the stormwater permits. That's just one of the facets.
okay, so strike so that a stormwater permit can be obtained more quickly and leave this, the second sentence. And then add something to the second sentence, like, and
actually,
other benefits.
what I did was I changed the first sentence. Mr. Gardner mentioned we were seeking a temporary garage for the spring and summer to lead to benefits and efficiencies in the project. This will allow us to start the project sooner and have construction.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, perfect.
Even though I have the project twice, but
That sounds good.
construction.
Do we have a motion to that?
Motion to accept the minutes of January 27th with
Yeah.
those amended, as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, it's good to have, they do have it. Okay. Public comment. Nada. And 5:05, we're on time. Green burial options at Dottie Cemetery discussion.
John's supposed to be here. Joey's out there. John Boucher is going to come to review green
Yeah.
burial stuff
But he's not here.
in the break.
Did he know the meeting was at 5?
He did, he called me today.
Okay,
Well. Check that. He called me today about it. I don't know specifically if he knew the meeting.
yeah, because I think there is confusion among some
So-
people with 5 to 6:30.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah, John.
we can,
Yeah, I mean, I put on my email, but
Yeah,
well, we can just skip it for now and whatever happens, happens. He shows up, great. Okay. I'll see him up there. Okay. Approve amended recreation policy, that was the policy we had before last time. And. They were gonna highlight the changes, if I remember. And
Thank you for the education change.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no,
The coaches and the assistant coaches.
thank you for putting in the work to get us this. This was really helpful.
Yeah.
Review it on.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Carl had a great suggestion.
Yeah. Was it a lot of work to get?
Hi, everybody. Sorry.
Hey, Zoe.
hello.
So we were on the recreation board athletic policy, you really just getting started.
Okay, if we start discussing it with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm reading through it.
Okay.
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, so I would like to just say in general, this is my first review of it since we passed it back in 2018. And I just came from a couple of middle school basketball games in another state where one team had not won a single game all year and the other team was doing full court press with a 20 or 34 point lead, and just reading the emphasis on having fun in this, enjoying the game, being respectful, that really warmed my heart.
That was great. I read it.
Yeah, and that is certainly consistent with the 2018 version. So
Yeah,
make sure to
yeah,
put all that
absolutely,
in there.
yeah.
But I mean, kind of to that point too, of what you witnessed in that other, things have evolved a little bit since 2018. So we just want to make sure our policy evolves as well.
Right.
So that way the rec board is in a good position to, make sure everybody has a good experience with rec board programs.
Right. So let me see, I called up the previous version that you presented to us in January, but then I didn't go in and review this. Just at the bottom of page 2, where you struck out the final 0 or O or bullet point there. Are you intending to elevate that to a number like 6 coaches shall follow these guidelines, and then 7? I'm not sure why that bullet point is struck out.
Yeah, the bottom of page 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coaches are representatives.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, that should go back in.
Okay.
That was just a little.
Yeah, okay.
anything there.
Okay, just a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, and then on the next page, under equipment and supplies, there are a number of changes. I read through that a bunch of times. It looks like it's just rewording the same substance. Is that right?
Yeah, so on equipment and supplies, we didn't change much except for the third bullet on at least an annual basis, maintenance needs of the field,
Right.
buildings and or. So I just tweaked that sentence to say, because I didn't know everybody reading it would know what a work bee is.
I see. Okay.
Just clear.
Could be a comma after work, if you can have sense. On the third bullet,
Good catch.
are identified in.
Oh, there is actually. It's just.
I don't like it.
And all the
Comment, oh, there is? I didn't see it. After.
bees and or.
Okay.
Bees and or are out, and then there's a comment.
Yeah.
Well done.
Because that was a little confusing, I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
So I didn't get my comment, okay.
Yeah, but I have a comma. I have another comma issue. It's under, on page 4, sportsmanship code of conduct. You're using the Oxford comma throughout this as far as I can tell. So it should be coaches, comma, parents / guardians, comma, and spectators, and then insert a comma there.
For spectators.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so all that's been crossed off, the expectations for participants. It looks like. Raise the funds, crossed off, and all down through there. So it looks like,
Yeah, it's been crossed off because it's been reworded and expanded.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So reorganized. If it's helpful, I can share on the screen. I can, on the computer, it's easy to flip back and forth between
Right.
the red line version and then like what it looks like in the file.
Oh, good thought.
Back and forth,
Oh, okay.
if that would be helpful in the review.
Sure. Do you need permission from us to share the screen?
I may, let me see if I can do it. Yeah, I need permission.
Yeah. You know how to do that?
I think I just did it, did I do it?
I'm gonna try it again. Yep, there we go. Yep. So this is the red line version, and we switch back to the. This is sort of the final, zoom in here.
And then there's stuff added, text added with a red line under it, and then other text in green with a double line under it. What's
The green was.
page 5, page 6 it starts, yeah.
Yeah.
Page 5 is all new, it's all red here. Oh, no,
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
yeah,
But
yeah,
The green is content that was moved.
content that was moved, okay. So red is new words and green is existing words, but in a different place. Okay.
okay.
Well, this is something I just noticed now, while looking for other comments I may have made. Page 14, under 9, adherence to team policies, at the end of that green sentence, needs a period. Yeah. Make sure your child is on time to games and practices.
Section.
Yeah, 9.
Number nine.
You're just there.
Yep, sorry.
Number 9.
There it is.
Yep, thank you. I have no further notes.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a lot of work you went into this.
Motion to accept. There's a couple of small changes. Thanks for all this hard work that went into the revision.
I'll second that.
Sure.
Yeah, we know she's here.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
As appear to have as you have.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I think the next, mine the next on the example. Yeah.
Well, we probably should circle back to the green burial options, because I see John's here.
Yeah, it won't take me very long.
Yeah, let's do that, that way. We can get that done,
I'll say here.
whatever you'd like.
So, last, early summer, last spring,
Yeah.
the, we were charged, the commission was charged with rules and fees are surrounding green burials. So we developed a subcommittee, met, and we've come up with discussed the barriers to the green burial phenomenon. And we determined one of them was going to be vaults. So currently the cemeteries all require vaults. So our recommendation was to no longer require burial vaults. Okay, that's the first step. Second barrier was going to be the seasonal aspect of it. And talking with a contractor, he's willing and able to open the cemetery, open graves in the wintertime, remove the snow, of course, 4 feet. And so we came up with a bit of a fee structure. I had my days confused. I would have had a bit more prepared today, but I have to be rough numbers, and I can type those up and get them to you folks later. That's okay, but I can go over now. So basically from December 1st to April 31st would be the winter burials. And from that point, currently our contractor charges $700 in the summertime to open a grave. For the winter time, that number will move to $1,100. And then an additional $400 to take away the snow, plow snow and salt and sand, in this case, sanding the cemetery so people can get there in a safe manner. And then the commission's recommendation to tack on another $100 for the town, for the pleasure of doing the paperwork and so forth. So that would be a total of $1,600 for a green burial in the winter time.
And it'd be less than summer.
In summertime, there would be no electric. It'd be $700. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the question was asked about cremated, burials in the wintertime for urns. Okay.
Yeah.
So I got to confirm these numbers. That doesn't seem right. It seems like there's an issue here.
Should we postpone this a couple of weeks just so we have the exact numbers before we're approving something?
No, he's not gonna talk too long.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make a motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine. No, I'm happy to hear it.
But nice to see that.
So basically what it is, the summer rates for the cremated rates, again, is going to be an additional $500 on top of it to open it.
Of any burial.
Of any burial, yeah.
So weren't there certain rules surrounding a green burial? So what is a green burial? You just put in the ground without the vault?
Without bombing, without a vault, kind of natural type container.
So not a coffin?
So it doesn't have to be a coffin. You can actually be buried in just a shroud if you wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah. So all that's go,
Yeah.
In play.
Yeah.
So I think our cemetery would technically be following the umbrella of a hybrid type cemetery where we do everything. So it's not designated to, strictly to a green burial style burial.
But somebody has the option to pursue the various options for green burial. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because people have different ideas about what a green burial is.
Right. So then another thought we were saying, okay, we're going to cordon off this section of the cemetery, and that's going to be green burial. Well, the challenge with that, people already have lots over here. Hey, can I do that?
Yeah.
Over here, it's just opening the can of worms. So we just kind of felt that the whole cemetery should kind of abide by the same rule and
Right.
That's
And then the 4 feet, where does that come from?
the 4 feet.
You mentioned burying at 4 feet.
I didn't say.
Oh, I misunderstood.
It was something about 4 feet.
Yeah. So when you were opening up the grave for green burial, it would be 4 feet down.
No, he's per fee.
4 feet.
4 feet.
Four
Okay.
feet.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't have 4 feet either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was the next question I was gonna ask is how deep do you have to do it?
Yeah, so there's a couple different theories there. So depending on how he's basically going to go 5 feet deep.
Okay. Is that what you do with a coffin or the vault?
Exactly. Yeah, and technically you need 18 inches above the vault, but he's going to continue with that phenomenon 5 feet deep. And
But I think that some of the people proponents of green burial may want it not so deep.
precise, right? So that's one of the arguments.
Because decomposition happens
There's a layer of biome bacteria.
close to the surface.
Yeah.
It was close to the surface, and it, I would argue a little bit against that in the sense that, animals digging things up and so on and so forth. And I think deeper is better, but I don't think there's anyone's gonna be running around with tape measure, measuring, you know.
That may be an issue that comes up in the future, but who knows? Because I don't think there's gonna be that much demand for green burials.
Well, you'd be
But
surprised.
maybe some. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, I think last year, I think we did 12.
Yeah, monthly.
Came up with it.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, it's an option that we need to
Right.
have available, so.
So I think our next step is we're gonna revise the rules. And I can get rules and,
Yeah.
the fees, we'll get you that, and I
Yeah.
guess, you know, that, at that point, we would take a vote and
Yeah,
Sure.
make it official.
Sure.
yeah.
That's all right.
I think we're pretty much on board with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just need to know,
Right.
and then pass it.
Another thing I may have misunderstood, I was actually reading between the lines and it sounded like this was a new thing to be opening up a grave in the winter. What happened?
So right, currently, the assumption is closed,
Okay.
East Montpelier, they're closed for, till, basically when the snow flies.
Okay,
That's been the custom in the past.
okay.
Right.
And the bodies are just preserved
So we
somewhere?
we have a winter vault in Montpelier, and so
Please,
they'll stay there for the
Yeah,
winter
okay.
time.
Okay.
And May 1st, we got it all.
that's the way it's been in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you do have the option now, you could bury it in the winter.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Made it money.
years ago, it was like everyone was hand digging these graves, now we got different machines.
Right.
It's a different.
It really isn't that hard now, because the cost is that deep.
It's not,
Yeah, and it's not that bad. I
I
mean,
mean, machines are way better than these.
yeah, I mean, I dig in the winter all the time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, okay, okay. Great.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're good.
I mean, it's quasi related, it's not really related, but in your other capacity for funerals and so on, you know, I witnessed you at a memorial service for a young
Yes.
town member
Yes,
who
yes.
died, and it's a, you know, tragic situation, and people had a hard time expressing themselves, and I just want to compliment you
Oh, thank
on, you know, working hard to give people a space to express their feelings.
That's great, good. All right.
Thank you, John.
And again, I'll have, in my mind, I had this meeting tomorrow, so I'm gonna have those numbers and a proposal ready for you tomorrow, and I'll email that out.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you.
put it on our agenda for like next month.
That sounds good.
Okay,
Whenever.
You said it's 17.
17.
Okay, you good.
yeah, we're always on Mondays.
Yeah, I know, I don't know why I thought it was. Everything seems to be on Tuesday. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing to do is approve the recreation center grant letter we have.
Welcome back. We can do the same thing, put it up on the screen, if that's helpful.
I have the letters. Everybody else have it?
Yeah.
So my only. The letter's fine, it's just I'm worried about the monetary implications of what I saw. What you were asking for, so you're asking for the 53,000, but it's 100-something, 106,000 or something. So that means the town's on the hook for 53,000 if you get the grant.
So I can open up the budget spreadsheet, but effectively where it breaks down is town was 30. And then I had assumed 4 for the Carlton Smith, which may have to be adjusted a little bit. But then the remainder of that is going to be all a combination of in-kind volunteer labor
Uh-huh.
provided by rec department, and then whoever else we can convince to donate their time and energy, as well as funds that are being fundraised by the rec department. So the town and you folks' commitment is the 30,000 plus whatever is available from the Carlton Smith at the time.
Yeah, it just sounds like an expensive project, wouldn't it? I mean, there were cheaper options that we discussed.
Yep.
But you're just gonna go for the grant.
Right, yeah, because the grant provides 50% match.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
And the
Yeah.
cheaper option was about half, right?
It was.
I don't remember the 106, but I did see that, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot, and then. You had a different kind of shelter, it wasn't.
Yeah, there was one that I had in there, sort of like a lowest cost option, that was.
That was like less than half, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite a bit less. It was basically like sort of like a pole barn type of setup.
Yeah, had the steel rafter, open design.
Yep.
Seemed like it would work fine and it was a lot less money, but. I just know that we're trying to build this town garage and pushing 5 million and then I'm not sure, I think the townspeople will probably shoot us by the time we put up $100,000 per day, but we'll see.
If we have to pay it. If we don't have to pay for it.
Well, that's different, but yeah, anyway. So you don't know what the cheaper option was?
I've got it here now, it's not the whole of the presentation.
Just to refresh our memories, since.
Yeah, the total cost for that was using steel truss and just like dimensional lumber, pressure treated, et cetera. The high estimate there was 42,000 for just the shelter. And then the other, so that 103,000 figure, that included also, I had, after being at the presentation that the Forest Parks and Recreation folks did about the grant program, I came away with the understanding like, okay, if there's any other ancillary things that they would approve through the grant, we should include those in the ask. And then if we ultimately can't come up with a match to them, it's fine. It's a reimbursement program. So basically, like, we got to buy it up front, and then the grant program reimburse you for half of what you spent. So I had added in, since I did the presentation with you folks, I had added in to replace a portion of the fence, because that was something else that somebody on the rec board had mentioned. So that was like, that's the one estimate I got in time. So when I put that in, it was like 13,000. So that was part of the reason why it was like, I know, well, we're not going to spend 13,000 on the fence, but I had one estimate to put in there.
The golden fence, gold thing.
It was just a chain link to match what's on the baseball field.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
But I put out 5 or 6 companies I contacted. I've only got one estimate back yet, so.
You can buy that chain link, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that was sort of the intent too, was like, okay, we'll get estimates, but
Okay,
like with a lot of this.
okay, so when you apply for the grant is 53,000.
Yeah.
Right? What if, okay, so if you get the grant, we're committed to spending the other 30, sounds like.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If they get the grant and at some point, did we approve the expenditure, the previous?
I don't think we did.
No, so
No.
we'd have to
No,
approve
no.
the expenditure, and so.
Because
we'd have to have another
I'm
conversation
hesitant of this
about-
whole project, it's just a
Yeah.
lot more money than I remember talking about.
So it sounds like the phase that we're at right now is,
It's sending a letter in support of the application,
Right.
it's 53,000,
and we could tell them to swing for the fences, no pun intended.
that's what we did,
And,
but then.
and then, when, at a later date, have a conversation about, okay, do we want, that 13,000 for the fence?
Okay, so just out of curiosity though, if you get the grant for 53,000. Their grant is a matching grant, 50%. So what if we say, okay, you gotta put up the cheaper structure for 42, you still have 21, right?
Yeah, exactly. We would still submit the receipts for
Yeah.
whatever we ended up spending.
Yeah, and they're gonna give you,
I
right,
know exactly.
right, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, so to your point, there's certainly plenty of flexibility between now and when we actually start buying things.
Yeah.
We can't, according to the grant, like, we can't make any contracts with anybody until June of 2026.
Yeah.
And they'll tell us the outcome of our grant application in June of this year, give or take.
yes,
So
right,
there's certainly some timing there.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. I just didn't want to commit to the 106,000, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I certainly
I'm
understand.
being upfront.
Yeah, and that's.
Unless you can raise it all without asking. us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
If you spend
popcorn sales, if you can raise it by popcorn sales, that's right.
We can spend 200 grand if we don't pay.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
And we can answer to our constituents the same way.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little nervous and we're just committed to a lot of money on
As you know.
garage.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep our taxes down as
Sure.
much as we can. There you go.
So that's what I get it. Timing's a little rough.
The timing's a little rough.
Going on.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grants, some of the plugs have been pulled on certain grants
Yeah, we did
because of the administration change.
right.
Yeah, because I've experienced that in my farm. I'm getting notices right now.
Yeah.
No, that grant program is temporarily closed. No applications.
These folks did reach out to confirm that they're still moving forward, but just to acknowledge to the point that a lot of
Yes.
things are being put on pause.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We're in uncertain times. when
Yeah.
it comes to grants. Wow, comes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Thank you for working on all this.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I'm not trying to be a hard ass about it. I'm just
No, I don't take it that way.
nervous about
Well,
money.
it's your taxes too.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so we can do this.
So I move to approve the recreation shelter grant letter.
Oh, second.
And authorizing me to sign.
And authorize, yes, the select board chair to sign it.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Have it, they do have it. All right,
Very good.
thank you, Nick.
Thank you all.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you for your work on both aspects.
so let's see. We are on time.
And on budget.
Yep, on budget, exactly. So the next thing we have is the Emergency Preparedness Committee discussion. I believe we have some representatives.
We have.
That way you can focus.
Bridget and Jennifer.
Okay.
And Jennifer also on it. 5 members of the committee here.
So, thanks.
Go for it.
Yeah, so we just wanted to give you an update, which Renee is gonna give you, about what we've been up to.
Yeah.
And we do have an ask.
For the record, would you mind introducing yourselves? So everybody else knows?
Sure, Renee Peter Kyler, Brazier Road.
Rachel Grossman, Grazer Road is well represented. Adding to your heart, I live on County Road since we're giving our
Yeah,
addresses.
we have 3 Brazier Roads.
And we have 2, Birgit?
Oh, hi. Jennifer Zollner up the road, Hammond Hill Road off Route 14.
And Birgit McCall, Paycon Drive across from Plainfield Hardware.
All right, yeah.
Thank you.
So I almost feel like the most important thing we've done is become an entity. Just the fact that we've named a committee, therefore people kind of come to us and say, oh my, you have a committee. And it just seems like that's been such a big part of it. We've talked a lot about that, what is our role, and we want to talk to you about that a little bit. Mostly communication and information sharing before and after an event, and of keeping our neighbors safe in an emergency. We've talked about creating neighborhood groups where they don't exist. We haven't done much with that yet. And we kind of decided not to focus on a shelter at this point, as we do have other vehicles for doing that. Jennifer has been great. She's updated the webpage so people we have a presence there that people can go to. We had a table at town meeting. We did a verbal update at town meeting. And again, we've seen Jennifer's done a great job on Front Porch Forum, just announcing, when it was really hot last summer, just announcing that there was a cooling shelter.
That was both Jennifer's, by the way.
Both Jennifers. Jennifers. So we've met with Callis and talked about what they're up to. And we're signed up with Vermont Alert. So again, I think we're definitely moving the squeaky wheels. And of course, once you get to that point, then it's like, okay, now where to? And that's, I think, why we wanted to let you know what we were up to, and also to get some direction and some asks.
So the Vermont Alert, the town signed up, but don't individuals have to sign up also?
But yes, so there's 2 different things,
Right,
which is kind of nice.
yeah,
So,
because I signed up, I think I signed up the town. Toby sent me a bunch of stuff. I said it was good.
Nice, because I think there's 2 different functions.
Yes. Yep, but then how do the townspeople sign up for it?
They go to the website for the East Montpelier, and Jen put on the homepage. Oh, there she is. Hi, Jen. A link to sign up for Vermont Alert.
There you go. Yeah, because I don't think you automatically, everyone gets signed up for it.
No,
Right,
it's like the town
I
signing
just
up.
want to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Right,
And that's why we have, actually here we have the little handouts, and we just tried to disseminate that information. So anything else either of you or anybody, Bridget, Jennifer, want to add? That's just.
So I guess just the one thing I'll say is we've also been working with Keith from Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission
Yes.
on the local hazard mitigation plan. So it's been another.
And Albert also has been
Yeah,
a great asset to us.
Yeah. And we also met with Lewis Porter to talk about WEC because they really have a line. They know who needs priority, not that they can give them priority, but they can get them connected with Vermont Cares, I think it is, and the resources that they need if they're.
I mean, as far as individuals go, when they have.
Yep.
And
Life
also-
support and things like that.
Yeah, and also road closures, they're, when during a flooding or fire or whatever, to know what the road closures are, they're really interested in joining with us on that.
Yeah, because that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen through WEC.
Yeah.
It happens to us, and we would give the information to WEC.
Exactly, and that's what they're excited about.
Vermont Alert.
What's that?
Give it to Vermont Alert.
Right,
Right.
but that hasn't happened in the past, but I mean, it should happen. What's that?
So on the Vermont Alert discussion, going to the webpage and signing up as individuals, I just want to clarify, that's for receiving the alerts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I assume that what you sign the town up for is for transmitting alerts through the Vermont Alert system, is that
So
right?
we're in the
Both
system.
ways, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah,
who in the town is responsible for transmitting the alerts?
Good question.
well, what, I asked Toby about all this, and he said, call him. So I put him on speed dial, because
Okay,
I'm the emergency preparedness, whatever,
and
director.
is he still?
So I said, what am I, yeah,
Okay,
so what am
okay.
I supposed to do when there's an emergency? He said, oh, you're supposed to call me. Toby,
Okay,
Toby is the, what do you call him,
So
director?
he's the coordinator.
Coordinator, right?
You're
Both East Montpelier and Callis.
Yeah,
You know,
he's the
and as-
coordinator.
And as you said, Seth, it's like you have lots of other jobs.
Yeah.
And it's,
Oh, I didn't say that, did I say that?
I think we
We
might
said
have said it to
We
you.
might have said
You have lots of other jobs. And I think for us, it just, a few years ago, this was like nothing, like whoever talked about this kind of thing, clearly more things are happening.
I think there should be more than one person that can send out those alerts. People go on vacation,
That's right.
it could be where there isn't any cell service, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there should be a backup for Toby.
So a whole other topic that really I didn't want to address at this meeting is communication. How does the town communicate with residents when there are emergencies? Because the last flood in 2023, nobody was home here, and that was understandable. Rosie was being evacuated by helicopter. Gina's basement was flooding. Seth was out, doing, helping everybody.
Generators for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. But there needs to be somebody home.
Well,
And
what we
so-
were
and
deciding,
there needs to be communication. So what we were going to propose, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's coming up, is that we form a subcommittee of 1 or 2 select board members and us to talk about how does the town communicate? What are the communication vehicles? What do we have at our disposal? And how do we as a town prepare to let town residents know what's happening and what they can do and where they can go? So that was going to be the last thing we were going to say, but we just started talking about communication. So
For example, Albert opens the fire station and people can charge. People can even sleep there if they had to and charge there. Even shower and stuff. I didn't know that, unless I was on this committee. So there's this level of communication. There's things we're already doing that we just need to let people know about when they need it. And as Tom said, to have a backup. So there's not always.
Well, I can tell you that when I was previously on the select board, we had an agreement with the school. Alice Agnew was the superintendent at the time. I was the fire chief at the time, and I had all the codes and stuff in the school. All I had to do was make a phone call and let her know that the shelter would be open. They had all sorts of cots and stuff in the back room, but I think the cots are all gone.
it still
but the
does
school
show
isn't officially a shelter. Not up here.
on our local emergency management plan, it shows that the school is a shelter.
Oh, I thought it was just, we were gonna use Callis as a shelter or the fire station.
Well,
That was
And
my-
that's what we came to as a committee was,
Yeah.
we don't really want to focus on shelters because people don't use them a lot. And
Yeah.
it's not a good use of our energy. And then we talked with fire station and their charging station and, you know,
Yeah.
there's all sorts of resources there. So that's not where we wanted to put our energy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
So, I mean, yeah. Anyway, I think this though comes to like kind of a challenge that we have right now, right? We've got 5 people who have some energy and putting effort into our emergency preparedness. We are not really aligned with Toby and Seth in terms of like what's happening from that leadership standpoint, if you will. So that's a little bit of a challenge, right? So I think we could be more effective if we were all working together.
Yep.
so my understanding was we were gonna get in touch with the town administrator. And we've talked, Jen and I have talked about that, I thought. And this was what, I thought that's what happened in Callis. They have someone actually in the town office putting out information about the roads, et cetera, et cetera. So I've talked to Guthrie about that because he's a road foreman.
Right.
And he was gonna relay the information to either Jen or myself about road closures. Is that correct?
Right, and then I would take that information and post it on Front Porch Forum.
Right. Or whatever, the town website, Front Porch Forum. I mean, a lot of times what happens is people just call down here. They call, what do we gotta do? So that was where I was at on that, on the communication. I'm supposed to call Toby. There you go. And then Jen, Guthrie.
And then we have every Monday morning at 8 AM meetings to go over roads. Well.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, some of it is how much as a town do we want to build this thing? And if we did want to build it, do we need a director? You know, you had said to us, Seth, like, if you find somebody else, you go for it. You know, like, you're like, not like, oh, pick me, you know. We've kind of scouted a little bit. We thought we've had a few people.
Yeah.
And it just seems like that is something we really could use help with. If we had somebody who that was their focus, because each of you have so many other focuses. Has this become, you know, with the weather and things going the way they're going, has this become enough of a priority that we put some attention and possibly some funds to a director? That's not the right word.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
And when we met with Callis and we met with Nick Emling, our jaws were dropping at what he does during an emergency. Because I think he's a volunteer and he's, you know, and he devotes a ton of time to it. And it was just like, I can't even remember half of what he did, but you know, emergencies happen and he's right there. And it was like, oh, we need one of those.
Yeah.
And so that was the other part of our ask for tonight is we'd like to be able to offer a stipend to somebody to become a director.
Sure. Go for it. I mean. Yeah.
I was animal control officer for a while and that was less work than this could be at certain periods of time. It's funny, sometimes you get, you know, weeks without a call and then 3 calls within 2 hours. But even 3 calls within 2 hours is nothing compared to 2023 July.
Yeah, but you might not have an emergency like that for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. You might
Right.
not have.
But the planning and doing
Yeah,
just the
preparedness
training,
exercises, going to the training. And then you should do, you know, tabletop exercises and, you know.
The
Yeah.
state
There's a
offers,
lot to do.
a lot of support.
Yeah, so anyway, that was highly educational about, you know, what it needs to you know, be available for things like that. I agree with Tom that you need to have, well, it's a separate topic, but you need to have a backup for making the communication calls. I mean, with Amber, Perry and I sharing the position, then even then sometimes we're both out of town doing stuff.
So, I mean, we had both 2023 and 2024, we had a lot of stuff going on at the fire station.
That's right. And then don't forget when we started, remember the freezing in Christmas,
Oh, yeah.
Christmas storm,
Yeah.
that's what
Christmas
started this whole
storm.
thing.
Yeah.
So it just seems like,
Yeah, when I got my roof blown out.
Oh, really? Oh,
You remember that one?
Oh, yeah. I remember that one very well.
uh-huh.
We had over 100-mile-an-hour winds up there for
Wow.
a while.
So what year was that, Tom?
That was 2 days before
22, I think.
Christmas, 2022.
Oh, that's when, yeah, I moved on my roof, right?
This is standing seam, wasn't very old, guaranteed for 100 miles an hour.
Oh, I
And
didn't
it
know.
came through one way and took part of the roof, and then about 45 minutes later, came back the other way and took the rest of it.
Oh, gee.
We didn't get, I mean, we got bad weather down at the bottom of the road, but I don't think.
And then there was actually four roofs in East Montpelier that I'm aware of that were completely destroyed, including 2 down on Town Hill.
Yeah. So the question is, like 5-10 years ago, you fill this form out, you say, yeah, who cares, because it really wasn't an issue.
Right.
Now, we need the form to be real. We really do need to know whether there's going to be a shelter. We really do need to know some of these things. And we're willing to do a lot of it, but as we've dug into it, we've realized some of it's really out of our scope. And anyway, so that's our ask. And I think also, I don't know if we would advertise for it. Now, how do you get people like that besides word of mouth? And they need some skills.
Another thing I was gonna ask is, for things like, working on planning commissioner,
Right.
we share them amongst towns. Do you know of any models where towns share emergency management directors? I mean, was Toby shared between us and?
Yeah, Toby shared.
Yeah,
He's not a director.
but he's not a director, he's a
not the
commissioner.
director.
Was he director
He's
before?
just a coordinator.
Coordinator, yeah, okay. But I
Did
mean,
we ever ask Nick if he would share? And did he say no? I don't know if we ever asked him.
okay,
But, and we do have a job description.
because if we started paying him to do it for us, then that would put pressure on Callis to pay him to.
And I will say I had a conversation just serendipitously today with somebody who said in Plainfield, where they have felt the pain, they have somebody who's paid. He said he knows they started at $1,000 and he thinks they might be up to $4,000,
Wow.
which might be out of our budget, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe it should be on a commission basis. If the damage from the emergency.
Right, Plainfield gets hit really hard to get.
Yeah.
So the question is, how would you like, if you are willing to put us to a stipend and let us proceed with this, we can figure out how to find a good person.
I wish we'd had this conversation 2 weeks ago before we approved the budget.
Oh.
1,500 is not that much.
Yeah, we can find it somewhere.
We can
We
find
can
it.
find that somewhere.
Yeah, we can have an emergency tax bill to send it.
It could be emergency.
But that's gonna be in the paper tomorrow. So don't repeat.
I have a quick question about a stipend. How much work is entitled, how much? Just as an example, our stipend is $1,000. The planning commission that works twice a month, they get $500. So
Really, that's terrible.
well, it's this is a volunteer job.
We just want to take somebody. That's more.
I understand, and we want to
So
also
it
make it
doesn't, I don't even know if the number matters.
right, and it could be, we obviously are not doing this for the money.
Right.
And would a $500 stipend that's consummate to the planning commission? I don't know how much work is involved. I have no clue. I just signed up for the PT alert.
Well, what I would say is that whoever we hire is going to be starting from the ground up. And so they're not walking into a system. And it's very different when you're building something.
Yeah.
Than when you walk into a system that's there. You might want to change it, you walk in with your own ideas and you want to change things around. But you've got some things in place. We don't really have anything in place. So I think that we will be asking a lot of whoever we hire.
And we have to clarify what we want from you.
I'm just gonna say, you need to have some.
You all have this, I think, right? Yeah.
Could it also,
Their job description.
you're talking about work to ramp up, to establish.
And so to establish, like the conversation we're just having about communication, I think that would be their thing to figure out.
Would it make sense, instead of a stipend, to pay maybe a limited amount of, pay on an hourly basis to find that person, to ramp it up, rather than say, this is gonna be a $4,000 stipend for the rest of time?
I'm talking 1,500. We weren't really saying
Okay.
we want 4,000, if that's.
And
what
We're not doing the 4,000.
No,
So
that's,
the question
I thought
is,
that was crazy.
and I'm not trying to be cheap, but once you bring this up to speed and it's established, hopefully we wouldn't have an emergency for the next 10 years.
Right.
Therefore, that individual,
But there are certain responsibilities they have to
Okay.
the state on an annual basis and.
okay,
you know,
which
so
I did not read, I
talk to that.
apologize.
Yeah, there's,
There
report-
is
you
some
know,
reporting.
there's the state, if there's reports, there's plans, there's.
Right.
And again, like I said, you can do a plan and you fill in the spaces and say, here you go. If we want to do a real plan that has some meat behind it and some reality behind it, are we interested in that? And then I think somebody would need to sink their teeth into it a little better.
And then the last question, or another question, so that individual would be reportable to you as the committee to make sure that. Who, no, it's, who,
They would be responsible to the select,
but what would be the?
They'd be working with the preparedness committee.
The
Vermont
question-
Emergency Management.
Because my question is, are all, if we okay the stipend, who would be the oversight to make sure all the boxes are checked? Rather than, okay, that guy did it, that individual did it, who knows?
Well, I think the way I would see it is we're kind of the foot soldiers. You know, we could be like their people, we could be their support, we could be the people who, you know, that kind of thing.
Your list here, would your committee, well, that's my
Well,
question.
how do you feel about that as a select board? I mean, is that,
I think that there should be some sort of oversight committee that would kind of just oversee the thing.
and then report back to you?
Right, because as a select board, we've got so many involved, especially this year.
So I think that's a thin line. I don't think we would want to supervise, but I think we could certainly report, right? I mean,
That's what I'm saying,
you know.
recommendations,
Oversight.
oversight.
in other words, if it's, we're the ones who are supposed, part of my feeling is we take this off your plate a little bit. You know, the idea is we take it off your plate.
Right.
We kind of immerse ourselves in it. We pull you in as we need you.
I would see us as working closely with the director.
Closely,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But be careful in terms of supervision or anything like that. That would be.
This is critical, this is a great need. We would just want to make sure that individual had performed the necessary steps.
Yes.
From not even the monetary aspect, but if you're electing or assigning that person, regardless of the stipend, is that individual doing what we need in this critical matter?
I think that's a great idea. We could even work that out with them. I mean, they could come up with their own reporting system, you know, and even send a report to you once a month and we can review it with them. And I don't see why we couldn't.
Or quarterly or that.
Yeah, quarterly.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be done every
I was
month.
gonna say.
You don't want to hear about it every month, but it's fascinating.
I mean, I would suggest a daily basis, on a daily basis. report.
The daily report.
And please deliver it to my postal mailbox on your street.
And again, the ideas we have, they can help us make them happen.
Okay, so let's move the conversation forward. We've got other stuff to do.
Yeah.
So, we can approve the $1,500 stipend. If you want to start looking around for somebody, that sounds good.
Okay.
That's the next step. Right?
So you're comfortable with us going forward, but we're not stepping on your toes.
Well, we're comfortably going forward until you get a candidate, and then at that point, we'll have to look.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So should we have a motion to approve the stipend? Where do we want to take that from? What budget? Budget.
I don't know.
General budget.
General.
Jennifer will tell us what we can.
We also have money in our
You have anybody?
budget for, I can't say labor, but salary.
Mhm.
And that's got fluff and filth into it.
Okay.
So Seth, we would find somebody, but they would need to go before the select board to get.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did anybody tickle your brain as we're talking this? Does anybody pop up? Okay.
And
Only one I can think of is maybe John Boucher.
He's already the assistant director.
I understand that, but he might be interested in this.
He's our assistant director.
Scott, we want that?
Yeah, what has worked really well is our zoning administrator. He also is in charge of Middlesex,
Yeah.
potentially, so he works part-time. If you found someone,
Yes.
Plainfield or
Yeah.
whatever, that is really hip to this and knows what's going on.
That's a great
It
idea.
doesn't sound like a full-time job,
Yeah.
meaning
Not at all.
somebody who is very well versed in this already might be, it doesn't have to be an East Montpelier person, as long as close proximity. Could be an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody may be already doing,
My point.
yeah. Sometimes that gets a little sticky though in a real emergency.
Right.
Because he's gotta be, or he or she's gotta be there, and we need someone here, so
Okay.
that could be tough. The dual, I mean, that's different with the zoning administrator,
Sure.
because they can tailor their time
Okay.
back and forth.
Wasn't
But
thinking.
I don't think I'd reach out to another town to just get their director.
Well, I mean, who's to say that the town lines that were set up a couple hundred years ago, 250 years ago, that they correspond to our needs now for emergencies?
Yeah, but generally emergencies go wider than one town.
Yeah,
They go many towns,
yeah.
and they all happen at the same time.
But maybe, two towns is the appropriate size, I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay.
So
Let's do the motion.
I move to authorize $1,500 for a stipend for an emergency director to come from the general fund,
EMD.
Okay,
emergency management director. Thank you.
any
I'll
further,
second that.
we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Guys, if you have it, you have it.
And as long as the minutes reflect that you're giving us the authority to look for somebody, that's all we need.
Yep.
We don't-
Yeah,
Actually, I paraphrased you a little bit.
okay.
He moved and seconded authorizing the Emergency Preparedness Committee to recruit a director of emergency management and offer a stipend of up to $1,500.
We don't, they're not, I mean, it doesn't, they're not offering the stipend to the person we are, the
No.
select board.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're gonna put forth the candidate.
yeah.
the position will pay that.
Okay.
We're on it.
Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all your work. Thank you.
So, how does it read after that?
The position's stipend will be up to $1,500.
It will be 1,500. Yeah.
Up to.
No, we said 1,500, that's what we voted on.
1,500.
Yeah,
So we haven't voted yet, have we?
yeah, we just voted on.
Yeah,
We voted it and we confirmed it.
Yeah,
All right.
we should just check. Is everybody okay with that modification to what we just voted on?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I'd like information to move on
Thanks.
to the next
Yeah,
item.
that was great.
Thanks.
The
Take
next
care.
item is approved town garage architect. Contract. Possible motion. Yes,
And we're right on time.
fine.
Love it.
So could we get a little bit of history of this? I mean, I was part of some of the discussion of this.
Which, this is the contract with,
This is a,
Lehman.
Also, Amber NATO's online.
What's that?
Amber Netto is waiting on Zoom as well.
But we didn't put that in. That's not on our agenda.
No, it's not.
I know. I talked to her.
what's that?
I've been talking to her about the lot of land that's behind on the Hudson.
Oh, okay,
That we can't get straightened out until we buy it.
okay.
We have to buy that little piece of land to get the boundaries straightened out. Because they weren't aware of the fact that they owned a little piece of land behind the Hudson.
Okay.
And nobody was. But going through all the deeds, et cetera, it looks like they do.
Uh-huh.
To straighten it out, we need to give them some money.
Okay, what do you want to do?
So they came up with a figure.
Do you want to discuss that tonight?
We could, but I was gonna do an executive motion. I mean, an executive session. I didn't know that we should be talking
I
about,
see.
yeah,
I just wanted you to know she was here.
Okay.
yeah, but it looks like she's expecting to get on. I just said I would bring the figure to the select board tonight.
No, I just popped in to listen, just in case you needed me for anything.
Okay, but Amber, I have the figure. And I will discuss it with the rest of the select board, but I'm not gonna do it in public session. Is that okay?
Yep, that's
That's-
fine.
No.
I'll hop
Okay.
off, and then if you need anything, just give me a call.
That's what I'll do. But I don't think we need anything, but I'll definitely let you know what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a 24-page standard form of agreement between owner and architect. And we were told by David Roy, I believe, that this is just something that the AIA, the American Institute of Architects, I think, puts together.
Yeah.
And so we have this document, which is a boilerplate document, and then they filled in some details in red for us to look through. So I've looked through all the stuff in red that they've put in. I have not reviewed the boilerplate and I've just skimmed over it. So I'm just hoping that there's somebody else in this process who has done that. Make sure that we're okay with it.
Did you look it over,
Jen?
Jen?
Yesterday, but I haven't.
Yeah,
Okay.
through myself, and then also set up a meeting for this Thursday at 2 p.m. to go over all the town garage contracts with Jim Barlow.
Okay.
Okay,
Including the CM,
yes,
CIS, this
Yeah.
one.
yeah,
It's a very good point by Paul.
Yeah, we have a
He
lot of
said other
contracts.
people
Yeah.
could join, like Seth, if you want,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
available at 2 Thursday. Or we can change the time, or I can
Sure.
just meet with them,
Yeah,
but sure.
well, now I got a lot of time, I'm not the director anymore. Or-
right? No, you are for now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
yeah, I didn't have any problems with what I saw in the red,
yeah,
but I'm just looking for somebody to,
no, I think it's a good idea that Jen has.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
That's absolutely, I was thinking the same thing, like, hey, we should have a lawyer look over these contracts.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what I thought.
Yeah.
So what do we do tonight? We can't really approve it if we haven't vetted it.
Are there any questions that people have from the review we've done so far?
I
Any
don't,
issues you see it with it?
I haven't looked at it, looked it over, so I don't have a question.
My eyes glossed over. No,
Yeah.
seriously, so boilerplate is,
The only thing I think that's time sensitive is that letter of intent.
That letter of intent we gotta do. That's for the auditor.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not for the architect. though.
I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, right.
But I didn't
No,
see
I
it.
understand that.
I
on the
didn't see it
auditor.
on the agenda.
The letter of intent
Town
is,
administrator.
oh, yeah, it's not on there.
It's on the town
It's
administrator.
on the town administrator report,
Oh, okay.
right? Right.
So,
Sorry.
and then Connor Contracting Inc. changed it to notice to proceed versus letter of intent. So that was a question for the lawyer as well. Unless we wanted to go ahead with his changes,
Who made the changes? John?
yeah.
Yeah.
He just said, letter of intent, like he changed it to notice to proceed per the RFP. And
Yeah.
crossed off the details that I had initially. So we can either do that or wait till Thursday for the lawyer. So.
I mean, the usual procedure is for us to get input from the lawyer and then look
Yeah.
it over ourselves.
Right. Because we don't know anything.
Right, and we're responsible for making the final.
You're correcting commas and, you know. Wait a minute. And, you know. God wants to get home and eat cookies, but. So, I mean, I don't want to hold up the process.
Can we approve it and allow select board chair to sign it? Yeah, after we go. Based on the.
If I don't think we can approve it, I don't know if we should approve it before the lawyer looks at it. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I don't see anything in this letter that.
Honestly, I don't.
Anything that. We haven't agreed to.
Right.
So. I'm comfortable going forward.
I'm pretty comfortable
With this one.
with the letter of intent.
Correct.
With the other-
With the others, I kind of think the lawyer should look at.
I mean, that's just doing our due diligence. It isn't that we don't trust our architect, but
Correct.
I think the letter of intent might be a good idea to sign.
So right.
Is it in
now,
here? I don't even see it.
He changed it to the notice to proceed, which is slightly different.
Yeah.
Oh, so he just wants to get going, basically. Is that what you're saying?
It's
I don't have it.
different
So I
type
can't-
of letter.
Commits to the project as of February 1st.
you need this one? Anything?
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
Mark Blanchard said we could do either or, whatever we want to do, or do a full-on agreement.
Yeah. And just forget the letter of intent, just do the agreement.
Yeah,
Right.
it's up to
But
us.
I think,
If we want to
you
take the
want to,
changes,
I
if we
think they
don't.
want the letter of intent so that they can get movement.
That's my thing too.
Because I know they're doing some preliminary numbers that,
Yeah,
so they take the town garage down.
yeah.
It's gonna save us quite a lot of money.
I know, I don't even need to see those figures. I just think we need to get this brought down.
I
Because
agree.
just on the permit for the groundwater permit,
I was
it's 2 months.
just the stormwater, permit,
I know.
save money.
Yeah, it's like, the no-brainer, really.
Right.
so
I think they're wasting their time, actually. to be honest with you.
this red line version that we get, this is a really significant change. to go from expressing our intent to engage Connor Contracting to announcing the award of the construction management contract to them. And maybe it's fine, but I'm not comfortable signing off on it. I also see that it refers to a proposal from December of 2014, which I believe is 2024. So I would like somebody to look through this carefully and make sure that all the dots are i's and the crosses are t's or something.
So I totally agree with you guys. What John's looking for is confirmation that we want him to execute what was RFP'd in December, like Carl had just said. He wants to proceed knowing he has the whole project locked up. That's what I gathered from the meeting on Friday.
Okay, thank you guys. I mean, just building on what Tom was saying, if I may. I would be comfortable authorizing the select board chair to sign a letter to authorize Connor contracting to proceed according to our previous discussions after receiving feedback and fine tuning it, feedback from the attorney and fine tuning it thereafter, something like that.
Okay,
Second that.
so can you say that again?
I doubt it.
So he's just authorizing the select board chair after review by the board.
I'm
Yes,
sorry, the select board chair to what?
To sign a letter, and this is a difficult part, to engage Connor.
A letter of intent.
A letter of intent with Connor Contracting
Yeah.
on the work agreed on.
Yeah.
Yeah. After review by a lawyer.
Review by the lawyer.
Yeah,
And you just gotta change that date.
yeah.
One day it's wrong, but the rest
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
The rest of it may be fine, may not be. That's what.
Well, yeah, I understand, but.
So, if I may ask a question, so is this different from the minutes of the last meeting where you approved them as the construction management company?
It's a good question.
Because we have minutes and writings.
We have that approval, however,
This is a
This
different.
is a
this is
formal,
worded differently.
I see.
this is formal, right?
This is formal, so that's why that I think that the attorney should just review it real quick. Authorize Seth to sign it.
And it may be the attorney says, hey, the minutes are fine, just send them the minutes.
Yeah. Yes, you could say that,
Yeah.
but I think they want this
I
official.
think they want it.
But yeah, be sure in that meeting to refer to our vote on the 20th, say this is in the minutes. The letter needs to
I'm
reflect
flexible
what we
with
did.
it, I'm around on Thursday, and I'm just gonna get this going, so
Okay, great.
only a few days. Just do it that way. So do you want to have a motion for that?
Yeah, what do you have recorded?
And he's second.
I've got that you moved to authorize the select board chair to sign a letter of intent with Connor Contracting to conduct the work agreed upon after the town attorney has reviewed the information this Thursday, this coming Thursday.
Has reviewed the letter this Thursday.
Is it a letter?
Yeah. No, does that sound good?
That sounds fine.
Okay.
Thursday the 5th.
And it's a fairly simple letter.
Yeah.
Actually,
Fairly simple letters can have big implications.
I know, but what do you got? Okay, okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Who seconded this?
It was over me, or no, did you?
Okay.
Tom seconded.
Thank you,
Carl
sorry.
made the motion. And it passed unanimously.
Yes.
Okay. So that is not the contract we're actually talking about. The contract is a good idea to have the lawyer review it on Thursday. Okay, so that takes care of that agenda item. Okay, any more town garage stuff? No, okay. The next item is approve auction bids, possible motion. I haven't seen all of it, actually. Are they in here?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're in here.
Okay, yeah. I'll find it.
Right there, next one.
Yeah.
Does Guthrie have an opinion on this?
Guthrie's here.
Yeah. Guthrie, is there anything here that you'd rather hold on to than sell at the highest bid price?
Pretty low on the tractor, wasn't it?
That was a little hit and miss on that. Yeah. That I don't know how much better you would really do though, to be honest, because it only has a deck. If it had a loader and it had more attachments, it would do quite a lot better.
Right, it's only 48 inch.
What's that?
I look. It's a small deck. Not very wide.
On which one?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, maybe I should buy it, but I'm like, eh.
Maybe not.
So.
And is there anything you've had second thoughts about? Maybe you just rather hold on to because it'd be of use to you?
No.
How about the international fire truck for 9,000? That's kind of a home run.
I was gonna ask Albert today, and then I saw he was on a call, so I didn't bother getting a hold of him. His thoughts?
Sure, they're gonna accept it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. Absolutely. That's better than some.
Well,
There's
that we offered it, town of Worcester.
And that's not bad on the zero turn mower, 6,500, it's gas.
Yeah.
And the two power heads went kind of cheap.
I hear the buyer's cheap, so there's that.
I got outbid on that chainsaw at the very last minute. I wasn't watching it. Okay. The Freightliner is not very good, but that's all you're gonna get for that thing.
Yeah.
All you. Yep.
It served its purpose.
Yep. Yeah.
Motion to accept the bids for the auction equipment.
Excess town equipment.
Excess tank.
Second.
As noted.
Any further discussion on the excess town equipment that we auctioned off? No. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Guys appear to have it, they do have it. All right.
Just to touch on the auction one more time, I did talk to Albert, and he thinks he's going to round up some goods. And as we start cleaning out the town garage more and more, I think we'll probably do it again. Like stuff that we plain didn't even know we had, type of stuff. So
Yeah, it's actually not a bad way to get rid of that stuff.
it's some of the stuff you don't even know you have. It's not worth anything. So if you get something out of it, you're ahead. So
You get it cleaned up.
How often are these held?
They have them all the time.
yeah,
So they have like 30, 40, 50 towns advertising stuff. And you go on the website of the Oxford International and it's all
Yeah.
listed,
Okay.
each town. And they give always the ending date
Yeah.
and you have a place to bid and blah, blah, blah. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's a regular thing. It's rather we just get our stuff together and they put it out. for-
Right. It's individually,
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so that is done. The select, Southern Pond Culvert Replacement Construction Vendor. And we had. Ready?
A lot.
Yeah, a bunch.
With a large variation in the bids.
Sure is.
Lowest one is half as much as the highest one.
Guthrie, have you looked these over so you know they're complete?
yeah. As the what's that, Thomas? They're complete.
Yeah.
Everyone had the same info. If they wanted more info, they were supposed to get a hold of me. So I did, I think, 4 out of 5 site visits.
Okay.
So do you have one that you'd like, have you picked one out?
I don't think I'm supposed to say that I picked one out.
And do you look these over and see one that you favor over the rest?
I don't have one that's really stands out to me. There's a few there in the bottom that are all should be really competitive. Waters is one of them. Waters Construction.
Do you have any concerns that any of these will not be able to do the job for the price bid?
I don't have that concern, and they'll be bonded. We did it in the bid spec that they had to be bonded, so one way or another, it will be completed.
It's quite a variation, I mean.
Yes.
double.
Huge.
That's very.
I mean, from bottom to top, it's double.
Well, or the some just don't want it, and if you're gonna pick them, then they'll say, sure. So this is all apples to apples, Guthrie?
Yep, that's so a lot of them are using the same purchaser for the concrete structure. And it's all comes down to what their cost is to run their equipment, really. How much they can move a yard of dirt for compared to somebody else.
I ain't even heard of some of these.
Some of these, say, by name, I could be wrong.
I have no idea. I mean, contractor crane service, we've used them a lot, but they're the highest bidder.
Yeah. And so on Sanders Circle, CCS and Daniels were really competitive, and they were in the bottom really competitive. On this job, they're the top two bidders.
Right.
Yeah, depends on how much.
I think they're both probably full of work, is my guess.
Yeah, I mean, we've used Blue Mountain before.
Yep. We had them on the county road.
Yeah.
I met with that Boulder Excavation, so their work out of Wolcott, I believe it is. And Wolcott or Morrisville, they seemed really interested, and they kind of came in the middle of the pack. So,
who was that?
Boulder Excavation.
Oh,
what from the bottom?
Yeah. I never even heard of them.
Well, why would we, Guthrie, not go with the lowest bid?
Okay, so I got a question about that.
Sure.
Okay, so FEMA is gonna reimburse us for most of it, is that correct?
96.5% in theory.
In theory. Now, what they do though, as I'm talking to Jen about this, is they have different reimbursement rates for different scopes of the job. You know, like an excavator, if the person charges us $200 an hour, FEMA may only approve 175 of that. Is that correct? Is that how that works? Because that's how it's worked on the government jobs I've done, is I'll send them a bill for excavation, and they say, well, our schedule is different for that piece of equipment. So there is some variation in what we're gonna get reimbursed for, I think.
So
when our group does it, then there's certain eligible costs and fees and cost structures for that. But then when you outsource it to a contractor, then it's like 90% reimbursement for the total project.
Is that
based on the size of the project?
Okay.
But then what is eligible?
Yeah.
You know, and then they don't give you the 5% administrative fees.
Yeah.
Where the other one, if we do it with our road crew, we get the 5%.
Yeah.
So there's all different.
Yes. But you can safely say around 90% we'll get reimbursement. So that plays into what we are going to approve. You know, 90% of $500,000 is different than 90% of 250,000. So we're on the hook for a varying amount more as the increased costs are. So I guess the question was, is there any danger of doing the cheapest one? 281,000. That was your question, right?
That not really. To add to Waters that's Waters, correct? It was 281.
Yeah.
You guys haven't directly hired them here in town, but they did 95% of the laboring and machinery on the paving on Town Hill. All the trucks was Waters. The milling machine that came in and milled the top off was owned by Pike, and the actual paving machine that was laying asphalt down was owned by Pikes. But all the trucks, all the flaggers, all the rollers, all the sweeping were all Waters construction.
I never even heard of it, but
yeah. They're pretty big up towards Burlington area more.
See them around all the time.
yeah. So I don't know why we wouldn't do that, because it's gonna cost us less money out of our end of it, our share. And if they're bonded.
And they're not fly by night, obviously.
Right, I think that would be all right.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'll
So,
make a motion, we approve Waters excavation for the amount of 281,849 to do the Sodom Pond culvert replacement project.
I'll second.
we have a second? Any further discussion?
Would you be okay just saying to approve the bid of water excavation, just so we don't have to revote in case there's a typo somewhere in here?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thanks, Guthrie.
No
Thank you,
problem.
guys.
Thank you.
And we're gonna hear from Malone tomorrow.
He called today. He's still out of town, and he said he'll have hard numbers on Wednesday.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention that you're here is that, he may require or would like to rent that for a full year rather than this time span that we'd like. Now, I don't know what figures he's talking about, do you? You know what he's,
Monetary wise, that's the only hard number that I know of, and he might have an idea of how much it costs for heating and that type of stuff.
oh, so you do have a rent figure in mind?
What's that?
He does, he did throw you a figure for rent?
He did not give me any numbers. He's out of the office until he gets back into town tomorrow afternoon. So
So I think that if he wants a year, that we shouldn't let that hold us up, because if we have to rent it for a year, we should rent it for a year, even if we don't need it for a few months.
Right.
Because it's gonna save us so much aggravation.
Yep.
And so, you know, it's just,
Is that stormwater permit, it's thousands, you know?
$10,000 plus it's gonna hold us up for 2 months.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
We're assuming somewhat fairly minimal.
Cost?
Yeah,
I don't know what it's gonna cost.
Scott, what do you consider minimal?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no clue. We're not talking about $50,000.
We could be.
I don't know.
I don't think we are, but
So the catch-22 that's not really thought of here is the OSHA side of it. You still have to have a place for your employees to be housed for that duration. And if that means November of next year, then that's what it is.
I'm not being negative at all.
I just, it's going to be really hard to house employees outside of the regular summer when you've got a certain bar you have to meet. So
but not only do we have that bar to meet, but we've got all these other factors to consider, that I think that if we have to rent it for a year, that we're gonna have to rent it for a year.
That's right.
I totally agree with you. Totally.
Okay, so I guess you just gotta let us know.
Yep.
I just want to put that out there. That should not hinder us from renting it if he requires a year lease.
That's my guess, is he's going to require a minimum of a year lease. That's
what I think.
knowing
Okay.
the people that are there, that's what they're currently on. So, and he was pushing for a 3-year lease for them. So,
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. All right, well, thank you for taking care of that, and hopefully it works out. Let us know.
yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow go on it, but
Yeah, it has been. We'll hopefully make it work.
I agree completely.
Hey, Guthrie, thank you for everything. You are over and above.
Well, thank you guys for your support.
I have a lot of confidence. You're our superstar. Thank you.
Scott speaks.
Yes.
Okay, so we have warrants. And
In the executive session.
executive session, exactly.
We got the administration.
All right, yeah, mixed up in, what's that?
We got the administration.
Yeah, yeah, that's not too much. Okay, I already signed that. And I'll pass it around. I'm not seeing too many red flags. Nope. Okay. You want that card?
Yeah.
Here we go.
You're going out of turn here. All these usually goes. This
It's called tickle beer.
It's usually Tom,
Me and you.
and then I pass it to
Oh, you're
Carl.
such a man of routine.
No, I'm actually not. My cats are, but I'm not. I just want to know that it's out of sequence, but.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, mix it up.
Okay, so who is it that told you that you're not a man of routine? Is that self-diagnosed?
I don't know. Can we move on?
Yeah, I like it. This goes there. Yeah, this goes with that. Can you pass that to Tom?
I don't know where
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
What building am I in?
Alright, what's this here? Oh, this is that letter. So I gotta sign that letter to the, Parks and Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
So I got one here, but did I sign this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
But then underneath or just? More than there. I'll find it, actually. Okay. Kind of administrative report.
Okay, the first bullet we already went over, letter of intent versus notice to proceed. We're gonna discuss that Thursday, 2 p.m. with the town lawyer. We signed with the commissioning agent CX Associates for the town garage at the special emergency meeting, January 27th. And then we were applying to 2 different bonds, the Vermont Bond Bank and the USDA bond. So if we move forward with the Vermont Bond Bank, funds will be available in March 6th. USDA, and we have the approval letter for that already. And USDA is still requiring more paperwork, which we provided already. They wanted the operating budget or Form 442-7, but we uploaded the financial report for that and answered the questions that they're requiring. We're still waiting on an answer. So I don't know if you want to solidify a decision of which bond to go with at this point.
What's the rate difference?
So they're going to email it again to us February 20th. Because they keep changing and coming down. So
Yeah, I know. The problem is the USDA is problematic and under the current political climate and administration. So they might not have any funds at all.
I'm just gonna say that, we may be putting the horse in the wrong environment, but
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Did you, yeah,
much as I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could be a big problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
There may be no funding for USDA projects at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Vermont Bond Bank, is their money just from state money? Or are they federal?
yeah, so it's for municipal bond.
It's municipal bonds, they actually sell municipal bonds.
Right.
Yeah, on the local market.
Yeah.
Wherever.
You can bid on them, see if you can get a
Yeah.
good price on them like this.
Right.
Not sure it's.
No, but I think that's a safer option at this point. With the Vermont Bond Bank.
so was there much of a difference in the rate?
They're still changing.
Roughly
Um,
10 basis points?
What was it
I
last time?
think
you
for Vermont Bond Bank was slightly lower.
Like 2.5 or
That's
something.
a whole month for me.
Well,
Yeah.
It's security plus a little less.
Your statement is what I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I don't think that would be at all in the least waiting. We're waiting for, and paperwork and whatever. Bada bing.
I mean, it's the last form they requested, but still we're waiting on them.
I'd say go ahead if it's
Yeah.
not too much more to fill out the
Yeah.
paperwork and then we can take another look at it, but I share
Yeah,
the
we-
criticism of
right,
everybody
we're
about the
just being,
USDA.
yeah. I'd say that we get all the figures in that,
Yeah.
make the decision.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 20 more hours of work for you, that's one thing, but if it's. a
No,
fairly
everything's
simple-
submitted, we're just
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
at this
Yeah,
point.
just let it happen, but we all have our reservations
Okay.
about the USDA thing. We're rightly so, but
That's
Let's
a
see
good
what
point.
happens. yeah. Okay,
Hudson House update, we're doing.
well, I'm gonna talk about that in executive session.
Right.
Yeah.
Municipal planning grant, so this is an application that we're putting together, Selena Barton and Eli Tui from CVRPC. We're putting together, for North Montpelier, the village revitalization. So it would be a 30K grant to come up with a plan on how to revitalize that village. The ECGB grant, the energy grant with the Collective Wealth Foundation is meeting with the Energy Committee this Wednesday to vet that out for the sub-grant contract. And the town will be receiving the Sanders Circle payment of $442,260.
Is that what we expected?
Yep, that's, well, the cost of the project. It's slightly different, so the total cost is $559,824.69. The total estimated project cost as approved by FEMA was $546K. So 90% of the total projects were 91 and 400. And then 90% of the 90% federal share authorized to issue at this time is the 442,260.
Okay.
So that's what's we're gonna get right now, partial payment, they're calling it. And that's how they're broken down.
Okay, let's see if the check comes in.
Yeah, so that's good news.
And we don't really have a home for that money. We took it out of our general fund. Do we need that money to make the school payment or any such thing?
Fund the emergency management director position.
Okay. But what I'm getting at is we're also gonna get another $300,000 to reimbursement for the road crew doing the work for that FEMA work. So we're gonna have a significant pool of money that we can start the town garage project with if we don't, it's depends if we should invest it or should we just use it as upfront money for our town garage? I don't know. The investment percent that's not coming in as well as it was. Interest rates dropped.
Well, you get the question answered on the Vermont Bond Bank. As far as their disbursement, do they wait till the end of the project? Like they did with the fire station?
So I think it was March.
I think they'll price it out.
March 6th,
Closing is March 6th.
and then funds are available. As soon
Yeah.
as March 6th.
Yeah, but
Because I know with the fire station and with the paving grant that we did back in the 90s, we actually had to do a bridge loan. And then when the bond was, when the project was done,
Yeah.
it totaled, then
But we don't have to do that now, from what I gather, they'll parse out some of the money.
okay.
But the thing is, if we could save the town considerable interest. By,
If we don't have to, I don't want, I'm
right,
just bringing it up, it could be.
because we budgeted a fair amount of money for interest for this next coming budget.
Right, we're talking about maybe 1% less than, you can still get between 4 and 4.5%.
Yeah.
And it could be very short term.
Yeah,
If we know that we need something in a month or 2 months,
yeah,
we'll invest it, and we're talking about thousands of dollars.
yeah, that we can take in, but my question was, should we use that money for upfront expenses for the town garage rather than borrowing? Not put off borrowing for a while. That was the question. Because it's gonna save,
Why not?
because you might make a little bit more money investing in the money market.
Depending on what the interest rate, depending on the interest.
I know, we'll visit, I just wanna put it out there, that's
Sure.
yeah, because we
It's a
do
good way to
have,
think of it. Yeah.
we have a significant amount of money in our capital fund that we could be using too. But the thing is, you've got it invested in making 4 or 5%, so maybe we should just borrow it at 3% and not worry about such kind of money.
Well, that's what the,
Yeah, that's what we'll find out. So, there you go.
Yep, okay.
Okay, so anyway. So what else?
That's it.
Okay, so we can go in the executive session.
Okay, I just want to double check, this meeting schedule has, meeting next time at 5 PM, February 17th, and then go back to 6:30 PM on March 3rd. That's what we all agree on?
You have a 6 o'clock informational meeting on
17th.
March, on
On 17th.
February 17th.
Yeah.
Right.
So that meeting doesn't start till 6?
No, our meeting starts at 5,
Okay.
and then we take a recess at 6.
Unless we get it all done.
Yeah, that might twiddle our thumbs for 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't agree to the change of schedule, but you're
You know,
working there.
oh, I try to get back.
I
to
know,
6:30.
and,
Everyone is giving me,
and on the record, I
yeah.
know you, Thomas, but I really appreciate January, February that you accommodating with everyone. Seriously,
Well, yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
joking.
no, that's fine.
No, I do too.
Yeah,
This is
so
wonderful.
you'll be okay going
I'm
back.
sorry, I got confused.
You're confused?
No, I'm sorry, I got confused. I was late to the meeting because I thought it was at 6:30.
All right,
January and February were the early.
right, yeah. After that, we'll go back to 6:30.
Thank you for that.
And maybe at the end of the year, look at going at 5 in December. as
Yeah,
well,
right,
since it's dark then.
Get dark early then.
That would be great.
December's fine, December's fine.
That's if some of us are reelected.
If some of us are reelected, but I'm not running, you are.
I am, I might not be reelected.
I think you are, there's no one else running against you.
Well, it doesn't mean I won't vote for
If you get
this.
one vote, you're
I
gonna
won't vote for this.
win.
Unless he's got a bunch of write-ins to run against.
That's
You
true.
did a bunch of right, is that? Okay, so let's go into executive session to get this done.
So,
So this is for the purposes of discussing a contractual
Yes.
matter?
Yeah,
is this the one where we have to, yes, I don't remember the exact wording. I'll
It's
ask you to. put it in
Title
the
One,
minutes.
Section, okay, Title One, Section 313, subsection, I think it's E,
Wow.
for the purpose
Look at
of
her.
discussing contractual matters that may There's a bunch of language,
So
I
this
put it in.
This is a two-step process. So the first step is I move that we find that the matter to be discussed in executive session is a contract matter whose early divulgence would
Affect the outcome.
would harmfully affect the
Yeah.
town, whatever the
Yeah.
exact language is, which Rosie will find and put in there.
Second.
Thank you, Tom.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I
And then you
I
have,
move to go into executive session.
Second.
all those in favor, please say aye. Aye,
Aye.
okay. So fourth has got to be off.
So we're out of executive session at 6:47.
We're out of executive session? Okay.
So my turn in the spotlight, yes. I move to accept to authorize the select board chair to accept the Netto offer to straighten out the boundary between the Hudson House, which the town owns, that's just parenthetical, it's not in the motion, and the Netto property.
I'll second
I'll
that.
second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ayes appear to have it, they do have it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, what are you doing?
Motion to adjourn. Unless you have further business.
Motion to adjourn. We don't have a second on it though.
Second.
Oh, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right.